everyone, it's Jessica here with ThermOWeb, and today I am sharing a different project with you, and I'm creating some cards with some alcohol inks. So I am using some clear acetate sheets here, which I've just applied some blending solution, and then I am just working the different colors of alcohol inks directly onto this acetate, and then I'm actually just going to pick this up and just kind of move the paper itself around, and that way it just kind of blends together on its own and just kind of creates like a night sky effect. And I just wanted all the colors to just kind of blend together and just look like kind of like a celestial background, or like kind of like the Milky Way or something. But when you apply the blending solution again, it kind of delete some of the color, and then you can keep applying different layers to it. So that's just what I'm doing here. I'm just blending all these colors together and just keep applying different layers to this while I tilt the paper up and down to just make them run each way, just to get the look that I'm going for. And then here I'm going in with my blowing tool to actually dry all of these layers, and that will make it so that they are no longer activated, and as soon as they're dry I can go ahead and manipulate the pages and use them on my cards. So here are the finished ones. They dry pretty fast. I don't have to do a whole lot to them, and I wanted to apply some stenciling with some of the transfer gel duo, but I didn't want to do it directly on those because I was worried about how that alcohol ink would react whenever I ran it through my hot laminating machine, and actually I was worried about these acetate sheets and how they would react to the heat in general. I thought they might warp whenever I ran them through, but they don't. So I'm glad that I did it this way. I made a second sheet for my card front. This is just another clear acetate sheet that I've cut down for my smaller card base. It's like half of an 8.5 by 11 is the base, and I've cut those down so I have two cards going, and then I applied the stencil using my stencil pal as you saw, and here I'm just doing some stamping. So I've grabbed some older stamps from my stash using some Darcie stamps, and these come with little coordinating, I think they call them tin pins or something like that, but they come with these little coordinating flare embellishments, and they just go right on their face. So it just pops up their little face, and it makes them have dimension, and they just look so cute. So I'm going to use those today, and I'm just going to color in my little animals here and my stamps using my Copic sketch markers. But there you can see my Deco foil transfer gel duo is sitting aside right now. It's still drying. It takes about 40 to 45 minutes to dry in my climate. I'm from Central PA, so it does take a little while to dry. So I'm just going to work on everything else on these cards while those are drying. My baby girl is coming in and wants some applesauce. There you can see her pushing that towards me, and she's not starving by any means, so don't get her wrong, but she likes to come over with snacks that she wants me to open while I'm crafting. So I am just continuing to color this in, just using my Copics. I'm checking the color against my little tin pin as I go to make sure I have the right colors, and everything's going to blend together and look nice when I put that on there. And I don't actually color in the whole face because that pin is gonna go right over top of it, so I don't need to worry about coloring the whole thing. I probably should, because it just bothers me in my brain knowing that it's not colored. So on the second one that I do, the second card, when I make a fox for the second one, I actually color the whole face. So I'm just going to continue coloring this little guy in. I'm going to make his shirt green, so I'm going to grab some greens here and make sure he has a nice little fun adventure themed shirt. And then I'm going to grab some medium-sized glue dots to adhere my little tin pin down to his face. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut him out and cut out my little phrase that I stamped. And I did stamp everything in some black archival ink, that way nothing bleeds or anything whenever I'm coloring anything in. So that's pretty much how my little guy is going to look. I'm going to go ahead and get him cut out at this point, and I'll cut out this little phrase and get all that ready to go. I'm gonna heat up my laminator at this point because after I did all that, I noticed that this is really dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and sandwich these in between a craft and carrier sheet that I cut down to fit into my fuse laminating system. And I'm just grabbing some fancy foils by Gina K. These are the, I think it's called Sparkling Silver. And I just grabbed 2 sheets and cut them down so they overlay my acetate sheet by just a little bit. That way I know I have the full coverage. And I'll save those other small pieces for later. So I'll go ahead and put this in and run it through there. And it doesn't take very long at all. And then it comes out the other side for me, and you'll see this here in a sec. And this is what it looks like. It's really, really pretty, and I can't wait to put it together on top of the other piece. So it looks like a nice starry background. Oh, I just love it. I think it turned out great, and that's exactly what I was going for. Now, I could have left the edges alone and could have just left them how they are and put my little stamped pieces on there and called it a day, but you know me, more is more around here. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this Easy Tear tape. This is, I believe, the 1/4 inch size. It's pretty small, and it's not my typical size that I normally use. It's a little thinner, but this is really good for stuff like this. I want to go ahead and stick these layers down to my card and stick them together, and then I'm going to cut out some die pieces from my Big Shot machine and actually put a border around this as well. I was going to do a scallop border, but then my sizes didn't really match up to what I was doing, and I ended up just using some dies from my stash and cutting out a scallop border to go with this one to make it a little bit different anyways. So I'm just making sure I put this Easy Tear tape in between my layers on both of those acetate sheets, and I'm going to stick these together at this point. Baby girl is coming in with my foil sheets that I used, and here's my dies that I cut out. I used some little grassy bits as well. Those are actually from a Lawn Fawn die set, and I had a couple different sizes of those, so I cut both of them, and I'm just going to layer them up to make it look like it's really, really grassy at the bottom. So I'm going to keep my borders all around the page with the white scallops. Those ones are from Hey Little Magpie, and then these ones are the Lawn Fawn ones with the little grass. I'm just going to adhere all of these little border pieces with some of the Ultra Bond liquid adhesive because I know that's going to dry super clear. So if I'm a little bit messy with it, I don't have to worry about it peeking out because I know it's just going to dry clear. So I'm going to continue building these little borders and sticking these down, and then basically I'm going to do the same thing for my other card, except my other card is going to have a fox on it with a different saying. It's a different stamp set that I used. Again, I'm trying to like pull out some older things from my stash, so I thought it would be really fun to use those and create some little camping fun cards. I can use these for birthdays or kind of a just because card or for whatever. So they kind of go for whatever I need them for, even a get well card. So I like to leave the insides blank so that I can write whatever occasion I need in the inside, and I can stamp that as I'm going to mail it. I'm going to go ahead and pop up this little sign he's holding using some of the larger foam squares by Gina K. Those are the 1/2 inch size. And then here is my medium size Zots coming in that I'm going to use to glue down that little tin pin. So isn't that cute? I just love how it came together. Here's the second one that I'm going to work on. It's basically the same process, but I am doing a fox on this one instead of the bear, and I have to get all of my orange colors out. I love making these little foxes. I just think they're adorable, and I'm going to make it have a little campfire, and the saying on this one says something about you light up my life, I think. And I'm going to actually pull out a little signpost. It's just a toothpick, so don't get too excited, guys. But I'm going to pull out a little signpost and put that one's sign on that. So I'm just going to color him in, and I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me color in the whole thing. And then I'll put this one together the same way as the last one. So I'm going to pop some music in here, and then I will stop in at the end and show you guys the finished cards. So here are the finished cards. I just love how these came together with that beautiful foiled background on there. I hope you guys enjoyed this process today. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and I'll link everything I've used down below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.